another stream. So today we're going to be talking about resumes and all things like that. Looks like I'm at 1,800 bits per second. So the stream is lagging. I don't know how I can fix that. I don't even know if it's from Restream or what. Okay. So that's a little disappointing. I'm going to go over to here. And I guess get started. The GOAT 10. What is up? What is up? We're going to be talking about some resume stuff today. Some resume stuff. I finished the thing. So, like, I think yesterday, too. I think you were here. But I was saying, like, I'm going to spend, like, $100 or whatever on that resume review with that recruiter on Exponent. And that's what I did. And they gave me, like, some tips. They said their resume was, like, mostly good. But I got some tips. Can maybe improve it. Maybe. Bro, this is crazy. This is a crazy timing. Why is it crazy? I also think to make one. Oh, nice. Nice. Okay, cool. So I think I'll just go into it. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. It really sucks too. I think my bits are low. I can't tell if that's from Restream or just OBS or my internet connection or whatever, but I feel like it's probably Restream. I feel like it's probably that. All right, so yeah, bro, look at this download speed, man. People talking mad crap about Colombian Wi-Fi, and I'm sitting here with 400 megabytes almost of download speed. Insane, man. God bless. I don't know. And then I've got like 27 upload speed. Probably have to increase this upload. That's probably like the streaming bottleneck. I need to increase this, like change the plan or something so that this bumps up. I imagine working as a backend engineer. Imagine I working as a backend engineer without CV. Yeah, it's generally hard, I think, unless you personally know the hiring manager. Unless you personally know the hiring manager, which I guess could happen if you work at a startup or something. I know a guy that knows a guy. Nice. Know a guy that knows a guy. Yep, startup. Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's get started then. It kind of sucks that the Wi-Fi or the bits are slow, but still we'll see what happens. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go into I think just like there's a couple things I want to talk about. One is like because I want to redo those videos probably that I had on like on stream and maybe actually like logically talk about them. One thing is gonna be the my SAT scores, and then two is gonna be how much money I made, and then three is gonna be like this resume review stuff. And I think this whole thing will probably be about 40 minutes, and maybe they even play into each other. Maybe they play into each other too. And I could just like put those all out as one video, I think. I don't know. So, okay. So, for anyone who doesn't know who I am, hold on. Okay. So, for anyone who doesn't know who I am, I'm Raymond Jones, currently top 10, top 8% in LeetCode, and with the goal of reaching top 5%. I'm the only one here. Oh, I'm recording this. Where's the guys? Yeah, probably working. Probably got their full-time jobs. But I'm gonna be recording this and putting it on YouTube. It's one thing too is kind of interesting is that like I can record this to like live and it'll be like 2 people, but then I post it on YouTube and it'll be like 2,000 people. So it's pretty crazy, but yeah, but yeah, okay. What is up? Yeah, if you don't know who I am, Raymond Jones. I'm currently top 8% in Lead Code, and today I'm going to be going over how to improve your resume. Does a resume even matter? Why are we even doing about this? So, first things first is like the first thing that a recruiter is going to notice is going to be your resume. Like that's like the reason that we have resumes is because a recruiter is probably going to want to know like just like some initial things about you, and they're not going to have like any background of like basically how to like know like who you are or whatever. So essentially like a recruiter is going to look at this document for about 7 seconds. You're gonna need yeah about 7 seconds, and they're going to just skim it. And if you're missing like certain topics, if you don't have like the certain technology that they want, or your pedigree or whatever isn't good, then they're just going to kind of skip over you. So it's very important to have a resume that's very there's going to be 3 elements of this, and because I don't want to type this out. Let's zoom this in. So generally there's going to be like 3 elements, which is one, like it's just like super concise and simple and easy to read. Apparently I'm just starting with this resume one. That's going to be concise, simple, easy to read. That it's going to have keywords for ATS system. And then that you're going to have numbers and values for metrics. Numbers, values, and metrics as value. Right. So what a recruiter really wants to know is, in the shortest amount of time possible, is are you valuable? They want to know, and generally numbers and like showing like values, numbers, metrics, whatever. That's going to demonstrate value to the recruiter. If you say you've increased revenue by $1 million, that is a quantifiable metric as opposed to I did a good job at my company, right? So yeah, you're gonna want these values because it's gonna tell the person instinctively once they click this number, $1 million, they know that is going to be. Again, you only have 7 seconds, so you need to make everything count. The second thing is keywords. Chao Chen, are you working remotely right now? Not really. I'm currently unemployed. I mean, technically, I'm working on this, right? So like, I guess teaching you guys, that's like my job. But yeah. But we can't measure this. We can't measure what? Like, in the context of, like your programming job, an example of this is going to look like you built some application that generated $100,000 of profit. Now that said, like maybe you shouldn't have access to that if you just ask your company, like, or just make some guesses. If you don't know that, like if you don't, you probably should be able to find out that answer, right? Like for example, if I make an application that saves the finance team like 4 hours a week, I automate like some application. So now instead of uploading manual Excel sheets and like checking them manually, I wrote a computer program that does that for them. Then suddenly like I'm saving 4 hours of work or whatever, 8 hours of work every single week of the company's time, because employees don't have to do that. And because I'm saving that time, like whatever their salary is, so it's 8 hours and maybe their salary is like $20 an hour or something, that you can come up with some kind of approximation for the value that you're creating. And if you can't do that, then there's other metrics too, right? Like within your company there's a ton of metrics that they're using to evaluate your performance. So that could be something like oh, I create tickets 100% faster than anybody on my team. Like I'm twice as fast as anyone on my team at like putting out features. Or when I did put out a feature, it increased like the scalability, it increased the resistance, it reduced errors in the company by like 50% or something, right? Like you say numbers like that just so that they know that like that when the computer when the recruiter's scanning it, they'd see like, oh, okay, value, 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 and that's essentially what they're thinking, right? It's like, oh, I see they did some things here, right? You know, value doesn't have to be revenue, but I feel like revenue is actually like a good thing if you can actually kind of estimate revenue. Can we lie? I mean, you can lie on your resume. Yeah, people lie on the resumes. Yeah, people lie on the resumes, right? Like it, if you don't know, I think you can make guesses, right? As long as it's an approximation, but like don't say you invented Google, right? That's not a good lie to have. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Also, I think I should probably make my camera bigger, honestly. But I don't know. Uh, maybe this is like, I don't know if this is too big or not. So I don't know how Simon gets his camera to be like. I feel like if I do this, that's bad. Okay. Okay, cool. So that's numbers and value, right? Like again, this idea is that like you want to say like, oh, I built a computer that saves time, right? And this is actually that saved time of employees and saved, like I don't know, $100,000 for the company, or I built a system for tracking errors and improved reliability by like 200% or something, like system reliability, right? Like there's things you can do like that. These are just numbers people can just easily scan. They say 100,000, they just kind of implicitly know, okay, that's value, that is something valuable, this is a person who is valuable, as opposed to just saying I do good job, right? And that's it. I didn't come up with this idea, right? This idea, and none of these ideas I came up with, right? I'm not that smart. I just, this is coming from strictly from just talking to recruiters and talking to people who do resume reviews and all that stuff, like just in my past. So what we have here is, let's see, what am I looking for? Oh yeah, Google XYZ format for resume. I think you have to talk about the CV type, and structure, and color. And do they matter? Yeah, I think they matter. For tech, I wouldn't bother it, but yeah, I think it should just be just a standard format. Okay, so yeah, so this was the article I read, and I guess this was probably in 2019. Google recruiters say using the XYZ formula will improve your odds of getting hired at Google, right? And this is the XYZ format. And this is like also good stuff too, right? Like, format it. It needs to be PDF. I guess who cares about the objective? Black text, very clean, simple, consistent, right? Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. Check for typos, right? This was my like guide essentially. Use bullet points. Again, short, descriptive. Recruiters are only going to spend 7 seconds on it, if that, right? They're not going to look at it. I mean, yeah. And then make sure you have your contact info, right? Like this is a very good. This is still relevant. I guess this came out in 2019, 5 years ago. But this is still relevant. Like recruiters are only just skimming, and you want to make sure it's very simple, it's very consistent. Don't use long lines. Customization. I don't know what this part is, but this is the XYZ formula. Accomplished X as measured by Y by doing Z. Right? Membership of Leadership Tomorrow Society, right? Like nobody knows what that means. But, oh, I was selected as one of the 275 participants for a 12-month development program. Right? Like this is a lot more of value. It's someone who is like valuable, I guess, right? Because they're very selective. Won second place out of 50 teams, right? Not just one second place at a hackathon. Grew revenue by 15, right? Like again, this is just the thing, like I built an application that did this, I built an application that did this, it did this, I increased things by this percentage. And then technical applicants, they kind of mentioned GitHub. I think it's probably useful, but programming languages, skills, and all that. Cool. So this is the article where like this is the article where this idea is coming from, and like I said, a lot of recruiters will say you just do these things like generally. So the second part that I guess I want to talk about, I don't know why I'm going upside down, but the second part is going to be the keywords. The hardest part is to make things consistent text font. There's no tools for that. Their job. I mean, you just as in make things consistent, just like you just keep the same font. Like when you write your resume and it says like you can select the font in Google Word or whatever, you can just make sure everything's the same. Like and then you make your name like is like the biggest thing that changes. And then that's it. Hold on, let me see this. Someone sent me another thing too that is probably useful. Someone sent me this. Yeah, someone sent me this thing here, this resume template. Right, so this is what we're talking about, is just that you have like some resume, right? Your name is bigger, but everything else is like the same, and then you just have like this black. You want this to look like this so they can easily scan it. Can we build an example on stream step by step? Yeah, so like this is the example, right? You see this? Right, name, everything's on one line. Again, we want to save space. We want to save space. So if they want to see your links, they can click them. Drop your education. Now that said, if you're in college, you put your education at the top. If you're not in college, if you're 2 years after you graduated, do not put your education at the top, because that is not what matters. Second thing too, I prefer the technical skills at the top, but I guess it's fine to put them at the bottom too, I guess. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's just personal preference. There's a lot of resume stuff that's probably just personal preference. Wait, did my really? The restream just closed. Okay. Well, if anybody, I guess, chatted on YouTube in the past 1 minute, I did not see it. If anybody did that. And the restream chat just closed, so. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so here's a resume, right? Like this is my format too. So here, like what you major in, what's your experience, right? Developed a REST API. Now this guy's resume, like I said, I don't like this idea of like not using numbers. I think this is bad. But it's very concise, bullet points. I hear that it's better to give details of one experience than put in empty experience. There's no empty experience here. Yeah, you should put details on every experience. Yeah. Because ideally, if you're putting in experience, it's going to be relevant, right? Like you put the experience on there for a reason. Like you probably did something there, right? So you should put that there. Okay. And then, yeah, then you could put your projects here too. Again, this is more for a college student. More for a college student. Published plugin, gaining 2K downloads and an average 4.5 out of 5-star reviews. Right, like I would probably add more numbers here if I was this person, but this is good. This is like a good resume to have. I've seen people who do way worse than this for sure. I mean, not the quantity that matters, but what you exactly did. Yeah, what you exactly did matters. Yeah, right. It's the value, right? We're going to the step 3, so we want numbers and we want to show value. And how do we show value? We talk about cool things that we did. If we haven't done anything, then it's not going to matter. You're not going to have that value. So yeah, so concise and simple to read, right? And then for this last part is the keywords. This actually matters for the ATS system. So how it works is that companies will get they'll make a job posting and then they'll start getting applicants that send into it. Now that said, in the age of this job market, that's really, really bad. Companies will probably receive 200 applicants. And they just need maybe 3 for their spot. They only really have 3 jobs. You don't think this template is spammed everywhere? What you did exactly on it? Yeah, I'll go into what I did, right? I'll go into what I did later. You don't think this template is spammed everywhere? No, this is the United States resume, right? If you're in the United States, I know in India, I know in Colombia, I know in Spain, they love putting pictures of themselves because how you look as a person affects the work that you're actually doing. But that was kind of a joke. But in the United States, like this is the format you want to follow. If you are not a graphic designer, if you're not doing anything UI related, if your only thing is just your technical skills, the recruiter only cares about your technical skills. And they just want to see it in this format. Like, because what they're doing is they're just looking at resumes and they don't want to have to look and see, like, oh, shoot, well, this guy likes to put his education on the top right corner and I don't know where to go. Like, they literally don't care. And again, I say this just from the recruiters that I've talked to, and you know, I think if you ask any recruiter, they're not going to say, oh man, well, I just love when I see education and it's in the top right corner instead, or I love when they like use this color. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. Again, I just wouldn't. I mean, again, you can probably talk to a recruiter. um I'm curious if one would say something different, that they like love seeing, like, you know, a different color, or they love seeing the candidate's personality, but like I don't think they even see us as like persons. Like I think it's just like, what has this person even contributed to their company, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe that's doomer, I don't know, but metrics can be hard. What if you are part of a company where your experience did not have metrics? Like, what the company paid you for a couple months to do a Coursera course? I mean, then yeah, this is like another thing too, where like if you work at a job and you're not actually doing something, then you, I mean, you get kind of screwed, right? If you get paid to do Coursera courses, then you're in a really tough position. You're in a very tough position, because how are you gonna like say that you've done stuff, right? I mean, most companies don't care that you did a Coursera course. They care if you actually develop things. If that's the case, then I mean, you either need to start signing up for stuff at your job, start working on projects that actually, like, you know, have an impact, so that you can talk about those in the interviews, or you or you do your own projects. Maybe say like you do your own like little startup or something. I don't know, but you kind of need the experience. Like if you're getting paid to do nothing, if people are paying you money and you're doing nothing, that's going to impact you for sure, 100%. Now that said, you might be able to get away with it, you know, again, just depending on how you phrase words and things like that, or maybe how much you exaggerate about the things you've done at your job. But yeah, I, you know, and I'll say the same thing too. Like at Citibank, honestly, like we weren't doing a whole lot, which is kind of rough for any Citibank employee, or probably the same thing for any Chase Bank employee. But like if you're working at a bank, you're probably not doing a whole lot of tech. It's pretty boring. And yeah, but that said, you know, those are the only ways that you can really get around not doing something at your job. The recruiter sucks from it. I'm on French and Morocco, so the pick is a must. I think, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, like I know in like France and things like that, like, and they love seeing your pictures of your faces, because your face is actually a direct correlation between like your ability to do work on the job. But in the United States, we don't do that. So no pictures, no faces, same format. Like they only care about what have you done, what have you done, what have you done. No bias, no bias. They just want that. And I don't know. That's, yeah, cool. So okay. So what I was saying is that like keywords for the ATS system. So like what happens when you apply for a job is that like a company's going to do a posting and they're going to get like 200 applicants on it, probably in this tech market. You know, they could probably even reach like 1,000 if we get maybe fake applicants and stuff like that. And they don't want fake applicants and all that, you know, so they need someone to like skim through all these people to see who is the best one. And so they're going to go through these 3 points, right? This concise, the value that's being presented, and they're going to try to find like 3 candidates that they can interview, or like 10, whatever the limit is. And they'll go through these 200. So they'll go page one, like page two, page three, or whatever. Now, the ATS system will decide who is ranked higher than other people based off the number of keywords that are on the resume. So if somebody applies to a JavaScript application, let's say we go to this guy's resume and they don't have any JavaScript anywhere on here, the system is going to rank them lower. And so it's going to put them at the bottom of the stack. And if you're put at the bottom of a stack of 200 people, let's say you're the 200th person, the company is going to scan through and they're already going to find the 3 people they need. So they'll pick up their 3 people, they'll send them into the interview pipeline. And they'll start like evaluating them. And those candidates will either fail or they'll pass forward and get an offer, right? And if they fail, then the recruiter will go through again and keep looking at their candidates. So it's very important to get to the top of the stack, right? But the only way you can do that really is from one, maybe applying like, to early job postings. And then two is the keywords, right? You need keywords. If it's a JavaScript role and you don't fit that, then you're not going to even get like, the recruiter's not even going to see your resume because you're going to be too below at the stack. Mora, will the VOD be available? Yeah, it'll be available. I'm gonna try to post it, and with me like probably less, um, having less rambling. Don't be 200. Yeah, exactly. With your skills and experience, do you feel like you can work anywhere? Not really. I mean, my experience unfortunately isn't that much, right? I've got 4 years, which isn't a whole lot, honestly. I only have 4. And there's people out there with like 10 and 20. So that said, the 10 and 20 people are not making any of these videos, at least to my knowledge. So okay, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Hey, we're at 4 now. Give me 10 years. See what I look like in 14. So yeah, so this is the reason too, right? So this is the 3 things that you want for a good resume. Now, we went over these examples. I'm gonna give an example of my resume that I had when I was in college, and we'll look at that. So again, too, if you guys don't know who I am, or if you don't know, like, I guess what I've been doing, I'm gonna do like a little background on that. So right, so I was probably like average. I was probably average for like most of my life until I was like in like ninth grade. And what I mean like average, I mean like I was literally getting like B's, and then like probably like a C in like elementary school, like B's and C's in elementary school, because like I didn't even know you're supposed to do homework. Like I think teachers would probably assign homework in elementary school to me, and I would just not do it, and I would just go home and play video games. But I don't know, something changed, and I got sent to like this school in middle school that was like, it was like Christian, and like basically if you didn't do your homework, they were more strict, and so they would actually like give you detention. And I was like, oh shoot, well, hold on, I don't want to stay in class after school for like 1 hour because I didn't do my homework. So I was like, okay, here we go, I'll do my homework. And then I was like, okay, well, now let me just, since I'm doing homework, it's actually a lot easier for me to get A's and B's. So that's what I was getting, A's and B's in middle school. And then I was like, okay, well, I need to like make something out of my life. Like my mom's saying like, oh, we have to go to college and things like that. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not good enough to be an athlete. So I'm not going to make any money like that. And I was like thinking, okay, how can I make money? And I was like, okay, well, I guess going college is probably going to make the most sense. And there was like a preparatory, like high school or whatever. And I still had like an A's and B's because I would do my homework, and like I would literally study for like literally like 1 hour after school. Like that was like the bare minimum. Real Raymond the rapper. I don't know about rapping, man. I'm not doing any rapping. So holla holla, we dem boys. What's up? Make that cash money. Yeah, the rap career was not in my foresight. I did not have any rapping skills, and I knew I like sucked at sports too. So I was not gonna be a star athlete, anyways. No basketball, no soccer, anything like that. So what could we do? I said I'm gonna go to college. That's gonna make the most sense, right? Like if you're not good at those things, then you might as well just ship yourself off to school. So there was a preparatory school that had like, it was like probably like one of the best. It was actually the best in my city, and my city of Pensacola, Florida. Pensacola. And it was like one of those like IB schools. So it had IB, it had like AP classes, right? And things like that. And so I was like, okay, cool. Well, let me apply. Let me see if I can get in. I don't know if they're gonna accept me or not. If they don't, then hey, we get backup plans. If they don't accept me, then I'll just have to go to a different school that has like, maybe has like AP stuff, but they're still like smart. Thanks for the follow, Dare. Yeah. So, but that's it. They accepted me. So this path never happened. And in there, I was a part of the dumb kids. I was not dumb, but like I went to this preparatory thing where everybody's like top 99th percentile. They were told they were gifted ever since they walked out of their womb. They've been getting A's ever since in life, and their parents have lots of money. Parents have lots of money, and I did not have any of that. I was getting C's in like the elementary school. Nobody told me to study. Nobody told me to like, oh, you need to do this, this, this. I was just like, okay, well, I just don't want to sit in detention. Um, and so watching a stream on Twitch feels less weird. I don't know. Nice. I'm British. What's IB and AP? Well, IB is, you guys have IB in England. You guys have it. It's International Baccalaureate. It's a college preparatory organization for schools. They have them in the UK. They have them in Germany. It's global. Essentially, it means that like it's just college prep classes, right? You can take college classes or college level classes when you're in high school, essentially. So like you're a high school student taking college classes. That's what IB is. And when you graduate it, they give you college credit, typically. Yep, International Baccalaureate. That is it. International Baccalaureate. Oh, mostly international students do that. Yeah, in the United States, it's a very strong. I mean, it's college prep. Like yeah, you just get very strong as a candidate for colleges. Like in the United States, colleges like to see IB or AP. So that was that. But anyways, okay, so yeah, so I'm in this like classroom in ninth grade with all these like super smart students, and I'm probably like right here in the middle, honestly. Like I literally just, I mean, I have no real accolades. And I know this because whenever they get homework, they somehow know what everything is, and they're just like drilling through, like killing these things, and I'm just like, what? I think I don't have my transcripts. I don't have a picture of them, but like I had like a D, a borderline D. I think it was close, man. I think I got barely pulled like a C minus in my geometry honors class because it was just so hard, and I had never seen any of these concepts before, and we didn't have YouTube in 2012 or 20, yeah, 2012. We didn't have YouTube in like 2012 like we did now, like Khan Academy and all that stuff, bro. So I was lost. I was struggling, and I didn't have any help. I didn't know like what I could even do in the situation. So anyways, got like probably like a C minus in my geometry class after like struggling like so hard. I was spending 1 hour studying here. I'm spending 4 hours trying to keep up with all these like rich students, essentially. I'll call them that. And 4 hours like a day probably trying to like just keep up with them. Yeah. And so okay, so like we I made it through though, actually, surprisingly. I actually made it through, and we passed, right? Like the worst thing is like I think getting a D is probably the worst. Because I don't know if you pass with a D. And so I like barely pulled through. I had like, yeah, just probably just like not a great GPA. I mean, it was probably like subpar, like, man, I don't know, maybe like 2.8 or something. I don't remember. But anyways, so this kind of carried on. It got better because I figured out like study skills that you can do, and I was able to kind of nudge myself over to like here. But anyways, okay, let's go into this. Let's go into like the next part. I'm sure I could keep rambling about this stuff, but that's not the important part. We're here to talk about resumes and how did I get here? How much one we'll get into how much money I was making too, but cool. So smart, but they really just come from resources. Yeah, exactly too. I think I like it's not even like smart. It's just like it's life is so much easier when you get born into like a family, or either you get born into a family or you get born into like some kind of community of people that can just tell you to like study and work hard. Like it's so crazy how if you just have someone that tells you like, oh, you should study, or like, oh, you should go apply to like colleges and schools or whatever. But yeah, no, didn't have that. Lots of kids have resources but don't use them, bro. Well, you just don't even know like stuff like that. Like there's just a lot of like things that you just wouldn't know. Like, who's gonna tell you to apply to like this, this better school, right? Like, for me, I have like my little sisters, and like, they kind of went to like this average school, and I'm looking at the school, I'm like, oh my God, this is so terrible. There is no shot I would ever like do that. And so I'll just tell them like, hey, like if I were you, I would not be caught dead in this school. This school is terrible. Um, if just because you failed, like again, just because I failed here, like I would apply again and I would just try to get in. Same thing with Google too. Again, this is I'm telling the story, but guys, this applies to Google. Like, yes, you failed Google once. Yeah, bro, just try again. And then try again. It's not, yeah, you failed once, but it's not over, right? Like But like people who are like students that are like, you know, like average or whatever, like they see like that failure and they're like, oh well, this will never happen. It's like, okay, well that's not how life works, right? But again, if you don't know that stuff, you don't have anyone tell you that, like you're just so screwed. Like you give up and that's it. That's your life. Uh, okay. Anyways, anyways. Okay, so what happened? So yeah, I actually started kind of popping off like my sophomore year because I learned the study tactics. So I went from, you know, probably performing average like in that group of students, and I was actually performing better than people. Several students gave up. They gave up. They quit. They dropped out. We probably started with maybe like, again, this is college preparatory. It's very hard. It's very difficult. We probably started with maybe 300 or something, and then like by the end of it, we only had 100. Like 200 people just dropped out, and I was still like kind of, you know, kicking in, and even in this 100 I was probably in top like top 30% or something. And just from study techniques, like literally just study techniques. Like I'm not, again, not smart, I by any means. I just like, oh, I can do these techniques and they can actually boost me like a lot. So did those techniques, and went to we took the SAT because you had to take the SAT to get into college. But nobody told me you're supposed to study for it. Nobody told me, and so I scored right there, back in the middle of the stupid SAT, despite the fact that I was actually like pulling in of, you know, again, these top preparatory people. We have people who are going to Harvard from my class in high school. There's people who are, you know, at Yale, people who are at MIT, Pennsylvania, and I'm sitting here with like 50 percentile. Like these people scored like 99th or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. Because I can't go to, you can't go to college, you can't go to a great college with the 50th percentile, and right, like, so it's something you need to change. I was like, okay, oh, you're supposed to study. That's how you do it. So I studied, and and my score, I think this exact score was like a 1550 or something. My exact score on the SAT was a 1550, and then I got a 1800 the second time after I studied for like, I studied maybe like 300, like maybe like an 1850. This was about, I think, 80 like fifth percentile, and this one was about 50th percentile. So not great at all. And but I boosted this massively. Like this was good enough for me to get into like the university that I eventually went into. And like the overall, like, I guess, you know, reason that I'm bringing this up is just to know that like uh studying matters. Like one, studying matters a lot, but like also like, you know, if you kind of give up, right? Like one, there's the 300 people who end up leaving just because they just didn't want to do the work, or maybe it was too hard for them. I don't know. They gave up. They didn't want to study the 4 hours every single day. Like they just couldn't. And they would rather, you know, like party or watch TV or whatever. Which is okay. But like if you kind of just give up, like it, you know, you just take yourself out and you're not actually going to get there. That said, I'm okay like working really hard for long periods of time, or like for 4 hours. I can do 4 hours of work a day. That's okay for me. Same thing here too. Like I could have got this 50th percentile. I just said, oh well, that's it. I'm not going to study. But then I did study and I was like, okay, well, here, like, I get this higher score. And this stuff matters. I wish somebody could have told me this. Like, this is the same thing, too, where I'm saying that, like, bro, your family matters. Because if someone in my family could have said, oh, your SAT score matters, like, you really, 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 really need to do this, I could have. I could have grinded and I could have gotten to here for sure. For sure, I think. I mean, it's just studying, in my opinion. I don't know. Like, maybe I'm crazy, but like, um, it sucks because if I had this, then I would have had like Harvard or whatever. I could have gotten into Harvard, and then when I get into Harvard, like I get way more job opportunities, and I'm considered like the smart person. Like I'm part of like the club, but like it's really just like the study club. It feels like, but instead, you know, I kind of had to just, I kind of tell with this, and I could have probably could have studied more, but this snowballs into like, this means that like I get to go to this great school, and I get, all my friends are working at Google now that I met at this college. We have like, you know, maybe 100 people from my college working at Google, or maybe in my class, or Google, Facebook, whatever. And if I need any referrals right now, like I kind of have that in life, so it sets up your positioning in life. You get a snowball effect for sure for being, you know, kind of one of the wealthy. And I think my thing crashed, so we gotta close this up again. And this is gonna take a while, I think. But yeah, anyways, this is why like I bring it up, and it's kind of frustrating for me because I wish somebody just would have said, "Oh, you're supposed to study for the SAT." Like I don't think I ever had anybody tell me that. It was more just you need to study for your classes. Why is this thing like acting like this? I don't even know why it. I don't know why it did that. Okay. Encoding overloaded. I think my computer's overheating. Um, Most folks at elite institution come from money is just what it is. You have them say they're because of hard work, but that's just a dodge to say poor folks don't work hard. No, no, no. I mean, like it is hard work too, for sure, right? Like, I mean, again, you have to study like the 4 hours. You have to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, you're not going to get there. 100. It's 100% hard work. At least in my opinion. I but you also have to work on the things that actually matter. You need to focus. If you put your hard work into the SAT, you will 100% go to a good college. Like, I mean, I guess not 100%, right? But like, it will improve your odds of going to college. You cannot get to Harvard if your SAT score is low, like, is not of this certain threshold, right? And that's where the hard work comes in. You need to like fix it on the things that actually matter. But feels like referrals hold more importance than with resume, yeah. Did you get a full free ride to scholarship? Yeah, so anyways, I ended up getting accepted to University of Florida, which is a pretty good school. I mean it's the best in Florida for sure. And also the University of Florida is amazing because they give out amazing college tuition. So I had about they gave me like I think my only price, the only thing I had to pay, the tuition was paid. I also had Pell Grants because I was poor. From going from here, I guess going from here, I was from a poor background. So, anyways, I didn't have any money. Family didn't have any money. So, I got like Pell Grants, which were given to people without money, and that basically meant that like I didn't have to pay one, I didn't have to pay any tuition, and then two, I got like basically didn't have to pay for any apartments really, and so it was essentially like a almost full ride. Like I was probably paying maybe $3,000 a year. Well, I guess it would be what $5,000 a year. I was paying $5,000 a year just to get this education. But not really even honestly. It was probably less than this, but yeah, about this and yeah, I was kind of I guess probably one of my weaknesses too is or maybe strengths too is that like I'm okay with like controversial kind of pounds in life, and so I was also considering like a gap year. But this deal was like so amazing because I knew I could get like a CS degree for $20,000, and I was like, oh my god, like that's such a steal. A CS degree for $20,000 is amazing. And I knew that like I could make a lot of money with a CS degree. The average because I just looked on the average salary like just on the websites. I went to a top CS school without SAT score. Do I still have a good setup? I mean, Bitsum solved all questions on LeetCode. I failed the SAT on purpose. Oof. Um, without a CT score, do I still have a good setup? I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, it's better than other people, right? Like, I mean, if it's top 20 CS school, then yeah, that's good. That's great, right? That's great. Sounds good to me. I don't know what top 20 CS means, but the thing is about in the United States is that like, and the reason that I think UF was very good is that Google would come to our campus. Again, we weren't even top CS. Oh wait, you can't see what I'm writing. Oh nice, because the thing stopped. Um, Cool. All right. So I had about $5,000 a year that I had to pay for UF, and then I considered doing a gap year, honestly. But then they ended up giving me this package, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is great. Like this is not something I'm gonna like go into debt with. If they gave me like, if I had to pay $100,000, go in $100,000 in debt, then I would have said this is not a good idea, and I probably would have just taken a gap year and reevaluated. But anyways, UF was good because we had Google, we had Facebook come, and we had Amazon, and we had other companies too. But they were all targeting this school to recruit. So they would do events, they would host things, and you could actually get like a chance at these companies like very easily. Microsoft too was there. Not as much as a company like UC Berkeley or MIT where they get Snapchat and DoorDash and all that recruiting, but yeah, it was good. And I'm not saying hard work isn't part of the equation, but there is a resource and network component that isn't discussed. Yeah. Yeah. I'd agree. So, okay, anyways, so like why did I bring up all this stuff was oh yeah, well, part of it was also I was gonna talk about how much money I made in CS. So the plan seemingly worked. But anyways, I need to fix my resume, man. Like there was a lot of things about job hunting that I didn't know. So one, I had to fix my resume. Two, I had no idea these companies came here to recruit. I didn't know that was a thing. Nobody in college told me that. I don't know why. I feel like college professors should just tell students, yo, guys, if you want to make more money than everybody and you're willing to work hard, like, one, fix your resume, and two, do lead code. What the, like, what? If I knew this when I was in ninth grade, I would have been so easy. It would have been cake. Actually, um, and all you have to do is like maybe a 100 problems, like maybe 50 hours, and you just kind of guarantee, like for the rest of your life, you will be making in the United States, you will be making $100,000. Anyways, nobody told me that. So ninth grade, I didn't do anything, and then 10th grade, I did like a study abroad in Spain, and but I could have had a lot. Anyways, I realized this and failed interviews. Kind of have to realize it myself that all this stuff mattered, and fixed my resume. Went to several different like resume workshops or whatever. Fixed it up and failed interviews, failed more interviews, failed more interviews, and I failed an interview at Citibank, but they called me back like 2 months before. Called me back 2 months before, and then I realized, or then I didn't realize. Then I was like, okay, cool. Like 2 months before the summer started, and in like April, and they were like, "Do you want to do an internship with us in like 2 months?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And that my first salary was 35 an hour, so that was my first thing for the internship. 35 an hour, and during this internship, did not do a thing. There was a lot of downtime. City was not a great company for learning how to be a good engineer. But anyways, what is UF? It's a university in the state of Florida. University in the state of Florida. I went to a state school, but really, when local business came to recruit, anybody got experience how the top schools go about placing their grads? What do you mean top schools place their grads? I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Why do you think you struggled with interviews at first? I didn't know that what interviews even tested, right? Like I struggled because I didn't study, right? So like all this stuff kind of and it really really does go in a circle where in the exact same vein where I couldn't even pop off for the SATs because I only studied for 3 months, which probably, again, it would have been nice to study for a year because I think I could have shot that up crazy. But the same thing just with practice. Like I didn't know the format, so I got 50 percentile. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't smart. Like I just couldn't do it. And the same thing too with this. It's like I'm not really that smart. I just have to like actually study, and I didn't know what to study. So like they were asking leak code questions, and they were asking like vocab stuff, and I didn't even know. Like I didn't have any roadmap or guide essentially on how to do any of that stuff. If I knew that they were gonna vocab quiz me and leak code me, then I would have been more prepared. But again, it's just like not something that they're gonna tell you, and you just kind of have to like look on Reddit, I guess, and like figure it out. Yeah. So that's why I struggled. It's just because what that happens is during the interview, they'll ask you a question. They'll say like, "Can you explain what polymorphism is?" And then like, if you can't explain what it is, they'll just say like, "No, no, thank you." And in one idea that I've kind of had too, that I just realized is that I could probably just get a master's degree and then like get an internship, and then just convert that internship into a full time role. Like if I was really, really like desperate for like a Fang thing, because then you apply, then you're like an intern or whatever. But anyways, that's just a thought. I'm not doing that at all. So worked at Citibank for that, and then I did more interviews. Was trying to see if I could get a competing offer, and could not get it. I failed the interviews. Unfortunately, I didn't study enough leak code. Failed all those, and Citi gave me an offer for I think 80,000. It was probably about 85,000 a year, and then they have like a yearly bonus for like 5,000 or something. But that's what I made out of college. I was maybe 22 years old. Was $85,000 a year in the United States, living in Florida. And then the pandemic happened too. So a lot of this, I was actually probably living with my family, just spending time with them. And then so again, once I said two is like I was like poor. So I in this time like I spent like my whole life basically living with my grandma, but 2 years later, um which is nice too, I guess, because I got to spend I guess the pandemic with her, but she passed away, so she was no longer, and I think at the time too I was also getting kind of bored with working. No, it wasn't. It was getting bored too. City was gonna call us back to the office, and I didn't want to go back to the office, and so I this started like the whole session too. So maybe like a month after she like passed away, I went like super hard on Leet Code, and this is when I was like streaming it. So I would stream Leet Code in 2022, and I was gonna try to switch my job again, and I fucked up all my interviews again. I don't know how, but I got one offer from Easy Post, and I thought too that in 2022 I had an offer from Easy Post. It was for $120,000 a year, 120K, and it was fully remote. So I thought like I could keep grinding Leet Code, and I had two paths in front of me where I could just accept this offer, or I could keep grinding Leet Code and try to go like TC heavy, and like TC is the only thing that matters. Like money is the only thing that matters. Like $200,000 a year offer, and I probably could have gotten it. Like I knew that was like a conceivable thing because interviews were coming very easily at the time. Or I could just accept this offer, stop Leet Code, and just go remote and just like travel around the world and just live in different countries essentially. And my mind told me to do this remote thing, which and I mean it doesn't really matter if it's I guess a good decision or not. I liked it; it was fun. So I sat here, and for the next year, I was just traveling around Italy and a little bit like 1 week in Italy, a lot mostly just Latin America and Colombia and Mexico and a little bit of Argentina, but was doing that in those countries. And then that brings us to now, which is like a year later, or I guess a year later, where I quit my job and went to zero TC. So, anyways, that's all the money I've made over the year. That's like my essentially kind of like my life leading up to this, which is I guess doing YouTube stuff. Going to the office is kind of helpful for learning. Yeah, I think I just didn't want to go to the office though. It's 100% like, bro, my brain cells probably during the pandemic were lost. They were actually negative. So I didn't do a whole lot of learning. And if the pandemic never happened, my life would be a lot different. I probably wouldn't be streaming on Twitch. Be, I would probably be just working in Florida, or maybe I switched jobs and got like a Google offer or something. I don't know, but I'd probably just be living the normal U.S. life. So, but yeah, definitely like Office definitely would have been nice for me learning. I probably would have also learned a lot more about software engineering if the pandemic never happened. My professor was my downfall too, bro. I told him I wanted to be a web dev, and he said that category is dead. You have all these template sites, so I switched to operation admin work. Rip Adrian Afford. Interesting idea with master's degree internship. Kind of feels like a cheat code because internship interviews are usually easier. Yeah, they're way easier. Internship interviews are way easier. But then at the same time, you still have to do the master's degree. Yep, true. Why did I quit? Things were getting like hectic. I wanted to like stay there, but like people were just like dropping. Like one, we had like layoffs. There were mass layoffs were happening, and then two, things were just getting hectic in the company. I don't know why. I think they were like trying to use this as an opportunity, mass layoffs as an opportunity for them to like start exchanging employees. But people just disappeared. They were just gone, and then there was just a lot of lying within the company. It was crazy, man. And I was like, okay, I'm out. And then I think they were trying to get more effort out of employees. So what they'll do is they'll fire employees and then get more effort out of the ones that are here. So yeah, crazy. Uh, dang, done, dirty. I had a staff. They intentionally had me take them out because they didn't need. Comfy Ren. Watch the beginning of your stream. One of my major projects at work is a greenfield project with no users. What kind of metrics can I use on my resume? Did I have a backup? No, bro. I just quit. I did not have a backup in this market. Not in this job market. No backups, man. Also, there's a lot of YouTube chatters and actually no Twitch chatters. I'm kind of surprised about that. Like, there's way more YouTube stuff. Cool. Yeah, did you have a backup though? Nope. Yeah, no backups. Cool. And then one of my major projects is a green project with no users. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have users, it's just technical metrics, right? Like I'm sure your manager, or whoever you're working with has like some metrics of success, right? Like, you know, probably Google it. Maybe Google some resumes or maybe Google like some metrics if you can't think of any. But like, what makes a successful software engineering project? Well, it's probably going to be reliable. It's probably going to be maintainable. Ideally, it's going to have like some effect on the world. Like, you improve like presence. Again, I don't know what your greenfield project is, but like if you're working with, again, I know you're probably not working with plants, but like if you made some software that lets you auto water plants, well, then you improved like the water content of plants by like 200%. You reduce time or something, right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Why'd you leave EasyPost and City? Are they both quite prestigious in finance and tech? I don't know if EasyPost is prestigious, but I left I left City because I was just kind of bored and I didn't want to return to office. That was probably the biggest thing. I didn't want to return to office and then maybe being a little bit bored. And then I left EasyPost because it was getting crazy there. Actually insane. Just a lot of work for like no reason at that too, and just lies. Why would you move to SF? Yeah, that's the plan, is to move to San Francisco, and I'm gonna get more into business stuff. I want to get really into startups and I want to get more into building businesses and things like that. Yeah. Midnight Simon. The Midnight Simon. The Twitch streamer, YouTuber. The video editor should have finished those videos too by now. It's been like a week, man. Greenfield project is one that started from scratch, nothing to do with the environment. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't think it had anything to do with plants, but like I said, like you have some project, it's solving some problem. You can break that problem down and use that as metrics, or but again, I don't know what the components of like. I haven't really thought about how you can generate metrics, but there are metrics in like everything. Do you think you should have stayed at EasyPost until you found a backup? Should I stay at EasyPost and then found a backup? Oh, one at the time, like I didn't want to. Should I have, like, it would have been probably working, like, when I say this too. Hey, here's another thing too. I don't do that crazy amount of hours either. I feel like most software engineers are not pulling in that many hours. I feel like that's probably the case. But anyways, I would have had to have been working. I think probably at EasyPost, I was probably doing 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week. I'm probably not even supposed to say this, but I don't think anyone's gonna tell you this. I was probably working 20 hours a week at EasyPost, and I was still like outperforming like my team. I don't know how. Like not all of my team, but like I was outperforming half of my team. And then doing 20 hours a week of work. Um but like when they wanted this one, they wanted 40 hours a week, and I was still getting paid the same, and they were still lying to me. I was like, why would I do this? What do I gain? I'm okay working 40 hours a week, by the way. But for no increase in salary, like they like kind of like ghosted like this like promotional thing. Even like even having the opportunity of being promoted was not even like a consideration, I don't think. And people on my team who were some of the best, they got nothing in return. But they were just asking like, "Hey, we want you to work like basically twice as much." I was like, I don't want to do that. That's a lot of stress too. Um, Again, just mostly it was just the distrust. Like I'm okay working 40, but anyways, I don't want to do all that and then also do that. But yeah, I was working probably 20 hours or like 20 hours a week. So it was nothing crazy. But the thing is like I didn't want to do this. So like should I have found a backup? It's like I don't know. Like should I do that? I don't think so. I just don't think that's worth it for me. Like I would rather not suffer working for like some stupid company, making them more money, and they don't give me anything in return or like kind of respect or whatever. I would rather just like leave. Like I don't know. I think probably, but again, my views on money are probably a bit more skewed. Where like I'm okay like torching, I guess, $100,000 because I think in the future I'm gonna make way more than 100,000. So I don't think the money matters. Logically though, as a logical thing, like this probably is something you should do. You should probably stay here, and do like the longer hours or whatever, or have like less respect, and then make, the 100K or whatever, and then use that to like transition. That's probably like the logical thing because then you can take this 100K or whatever and use that for something good. Why was the company lying? I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, it's just like, hey, hey, we're gonna IPO like next year, and then next year comes, they don't IPO, so nothing happens. Oh, hey, we're gonna let this person go, and corporate politics reason why, but like the real reason is something else. Oh, hey, everybody, we need to like delay promotions for some reason. I don't know. Is it true that working at City or banks is a safe route? I don't know. Is it safe? I don't know. Safe by what means? I don't know what that means. Safe, like job security wise? Yeah, sure. I don't know. Banks probably don't do layoffs. I don't know if they do or not. If you have a team blind account still, you ask referrals there. Yeah, you can. What were your technical interview questions like? I think I talked about that a little bit before. Just like leak code and then vocabulary quizzes. Haha. Okay, same thing, corporate jargon. What's the ideal place to work at? I mean, it just depends on your personality. What's the ideal place to work at for me? Uh, Ideal place to work at? I don't think I care. I think I have an ideal place to work at right now, as long as it's probably just doing something beneficial. Actually, no, the ideal place to work at is a place where I can actually grow my skills. That is the ideal place, is that if I can start improving as a software engineer, that's the one. That's the one. That's the one that I want. So something like, Chase or JP Morgan, like I don't think you're growing as a software engineer there, honestly. Sorry, I'm probably at a point where I don't want those. I think I would rather work on like actually hard problems that we're solving or hard problems to solve. And I don't care actually at all about like it even having like an impact like globally, because tech, I think in as its whole, tech is like it's separated from any human beings. And so you're really just building apps. And so like you don't even get to see the impact. Like you're, just redesigning buttons and making the company more money. So I don't care about the impact. I just care like, am I going to learn something new? Because then if I learn something new, then in 10 years I can launch my startup that's actually going to like have an impact on people in the way that I want it to. I guess assuming if I don't die before then. Banks are generally safer, but if the bank is a public company, it's less safe. Yeah. And a startup, I'd rather get brought in than IPO. Yeah, get in before they IPO, and then if they IPO, most startups fail, but if they IPO, then you become like a multimillionaire. Yeah, how's the job market in the U.S.? I'm a developer with 3 years experience in India. The job market is bad for tech. Okay, cool. There is that. So, yo, hey, Atomics, what's up? Thoughts on HFTs? I don't have any thoughts on them. They're a company that makes a lot of money, and if you work there, you can make them a lot more money. And because you're making them, $10 million, $100 million off their trades, you can get $1 million a year salary. If this is the software engineering path that you want to go, where you want to make 1 million a year, it's a path to go there. I don't. Again, I don't have any personal attachments to an HFT, so I mean, as a concept, I don't have any real thoughts on them, honestly. Like if for working there for money, okay, yeah, sure, then that's good. It's a good place to make 1 million a year, I think. Ethically, I don't know. I don't. Yeah. Uh, I work for a private company. We just had layoffs, but a lot promotions and mid-year raises. Doesn't make sense. Nice, yeah. The shareholders got to get their boost, man. Gotta give a shareholder, give the shareholders more money when you do the layoffs. You got to pay them. They're hard working, man. Everything I actually do is for the shareholder, right? Like when someone asked me before, I don't remember who it was. Someone asked me what's my deal. I think it was Holla We Them Boys. Like, what place am I looking for? It actually wasn't. This wasn't true actually. I don't care about growing as an engineer. I care about making the shareholders more money. That is what I wake up doing. I say, oh my god, the shareholders are gonna lose so much money today, and I feel sad. But then when I make them more money, I feel happy. And then when they lay me off, and they get hired paychecks, I'm even happier. It's the sacrifice we kind of have to make. True, true. Is HFT that bad ethically? And I don't know. I don't know anything. When I said ethically, I mean I don't know. I don't know how the HFTs are, bro. I don't do any HFTs. They're definitely not bad ethically. I mean, they they use algorithms. I don't know to trade on the stock market. I'm gonna do HFT 60-hour work week. Sounds insane. Yeah, if I mean it's up to you. Yeah, like I said, it really depends on the person. Some people are okay, working 60 hours a week. Like they just like it. Kind of comes down to like this problem solving thing, right? Where you just want to solve problems, and so they get to solve problems and they get to make a lot of money. Basically scalping. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because actually, like the thing with scalping is that like you can't actually buy the things, right? Like if you want to buy GPU, some guy bought all the GPUs already, so they're literally hogging all the GPUs, and then you're not even allowed to touch them. You can't even buy them because they control all of them, and so they just raise the prices. That's like what's bad with scalping. But like I think with HFTs, they're just buying stocks. Like someone says, "Oh, I want to sell this," and they buy it. But like scalpers will actually go to all the distributors, buy every single item of that thing, so the supply is like zero, and then they sell those for 2x the price or whatever, which is like that's actually unethical. But I mean, I think in the system, if you just want to, if someone wants to buy a stock, you buy it. Okay, sure. If they sell it for that price, then yeah, do it. Okay, cool. So this is all this. Ever experienced burnout? Yeah, I get burnout. I think, actually, I watched like Dr. K's video on this. Actually, if you guys want to watch another like 1 hour video, I would recommend this video for burnout. But essentially, like burnout comes down to not being appreciated. I think. Um, so you're burned out, and you don't even know it. I think this is the one. This is the video. I would recommend this video. You're burnt out, and you don't even know it.
So this is what I kind of think about these three things as
Oh my
like the
God.
classic occult burn.
My computer is just very bad. Yeah, but like burnout's not depression. It's like it essentially comes down to like you have like these factors. I really hope I don't want this video to play, but like essentially like having control over like things that you're creating, feeling like you're like reward, community values, right? Things like this impact your burnout. But yeah, I think I get burnout. I don't think I've actually felt it really actually, except for maybe working at Easy Post, which is why I quit. I don't know, but I think probably now too. I feel like I'm really have burnout, but it doesn't actually make any sense for me to have burnout because I'm kind of in control of like everything. Anecdotal, the friends I have who work at HU have relatively good work-life balance. They say Amazon's is worse. Okay, interesting. Worse work-life balance for less money at Amazon versus HFTs. I went through it about 2 years ago. Interesting. Okay, and now I guess we're gonna go into the actual resume. So I'm gonna show my old resume, and then we'll do that. So okay, let me go over to my old resume from 2019. So this is the one that I used to get interviews. Oh, also, because we're really kind of just going over some of the stuff. Okay, cool. So also, this is like some of the classes I took in college, by the way. I was curious. Right, so I did this IB program, right? And basis of admission, residency status, Florida tuition, I guess. This is from 2019. I think some applications make you attach your unofficial transcript for whatever reason, so I needed this. But I got my IB conversions for like chemistry and biology and all that stuff, and psychology, and then we went into like actual like stuff. So like I got a B in my programming fundamentals class. Like again, I didn't know how to program and I didn't know any of that stuff, so I was really behind. I think some people probably came in with experience and stuff, but also not again, I'm not like really smart. Uh, Good life though, I was good at this, and I took human sexuality and culture, which is a cool class. And I also have like really a lot of curiosity, so I like talking to people and I like learning new things. And I took German. Took German. Had to learn how to not make every little thing significant. Interesting. That's good that you figured it out, because hopefully then it can get prevented. Yeah, I took German. I took calc. Calc was really hard, man. I suffered. I was grinding for this B minus, man. I was studying easily like 3 hours every single day, practicing math just to do calculus. Easily 3 hours every day, sitting in office hours, sitting in tutoring, just trying to get through this, man. This was tough. Very hard B minus. Programming fundamentals 2, B plus. This was like a joke of a class. Mac 2312. I don't know what that is. Analyst. Oh, this is Calc 2. This is Calc 2. Calculus 2. B plus. And I got a C in this plants class. Also, bro, I almost failed this physics 1 class, bro. I think I was literally 3 questions on the final exam. If I messed up 3 more questions, I actually would have had to fail. I would have failed this and had to retake it. Physics. I did not do any physics or math in my college career. You were a TA for DSA, so you must have been some kind of smart. No, I think it's just practice, man. I think it's just practice. Surprised you remembered that I was a TA for DSA. Yes. And then what do we got here? B minus on all my calc stuff. Writing's easy. This was a joke of a class. Linear algebra. I took Chinese. That was a very hard class. Discrete math. Oh no. This would have helped me on those combinatorics problems. C plus, man. Oof. Physics 2 was easier because I learned study techniques. I realized I can study even harder. Dash function algorithms B plus. I don't know how this happened either. I took this during the summer. I don't know what happened. This is a little embarrassing. But no, yeah, it happened, man. It happened. I don't know what I did, but did something wrong. Zombie killer whale. What's up? What else do we have here? Oh boy, I failed. Digital logic, hardware. Failed that class. D plus. Not even close, not even like a C minus. It was just like actually they just failed it. Numerical analysis, barely passed with a C. Bro, it's rough not being a genius. Failed operating systems, barely. C minus. And then that was it really, essentially. Took these classes again and passed them, but so then I took Korean for 1 year and engineering entrepreneurship. So anyways, that was my grades. Like I said, not crazy. That said, this is, I will say, like, while I say all this kind of stuff, a lot of people end up dropping out from calculus, specifically calculus 2. They don't have the study techniques. Their mindset's just really bad. And so once they get their first C ever in their life, I've been grinding, man. I've been getting C's my whole life. But once they get their first C, their mental like shatters and then they just give up. Same thing with LeetCode, honestly. Like people, they can't solve a LeetCode problem and they just give up and say they hate it. And then they essentially can't, ever crack FANG because of that. Cool. So yeah, here's my resume too. So just to go over the stuff that I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna reduce my camera size. So one is you're gonna slow this at the top. Is it ever gonna like show? Okay, well you're gonna kind of notice in the top it's kind of blurred, but 3.15 GPA, computer science. This is my resume in college from 2019. So I put relevant courses, right? Again, I've heard at least that it's important to It's important to put your courses. Also to put your skill level in your programming languages too. Although, whatever. I had C++ at the time. It's my strongest. City group intern. Right. So this is the numbers thing I'm talking about. Navigated code base of 1,000 lines in Java and Spring Boot to add features and deploy. Right. Just some numbers, like literally just something like numerical. Automated testing API calls leading to 100 increase in testing efficiency. This would have been even cooler if I said that like I reduced, the money like monetarily. It led to monetarily like increasing value, like a monetary increase because I'm saving time and time is money. There's a relationship to time and money for a business. If your GPA is not 3.5, yeah, I heard if your GPA is greater than 3, because I heard that like that most people don't have like 3.0s with a computer science degree. That's what I heard, is that like a computer science degree is like really hard, like with calculus and physics and all that, and most people can't sustain like higher than 3.0. So I put it on there and it worked for me. Like I said, this was my resume that got me talks with with Google in 2019 though. Google, Facebook, Amazon, OA, probably some other companies too, I guess I don't remember, but also didn't apply. I think I applied to 20 companies and that's what I got. And this is like again the power of like having like a good university. Ultimate tic-tac-toe, right? So reduce code base by 60% by refactoring, right? Numbers. Design object can write 1,000 lines of code. And then this one was a really cool project. Kind of sucks that this doesn't have enough bullet points, but yeah, ideally if you can come up with some numbers. I'm lacking on numbers here. This file system, I would probably say like reduces memory load by 100% or something, or like, oh, I did do that. Wow, removed 100% of memory leaks. Okay, cool, nice. Yeah, I would put something like that. And then for this wildflower one, maybe like optimize SQL queries by 50% or something. I don't know. I'd probably say something like that for that. But this is examples of metrics, if you guys were curious. And okay, cool. So that's that. And then now we'll do is I'm gonna go into my actual resume right now. My mid-level resume. Cool. So what type of school makes you take physics and CS curriculum? I thought all schools, don't they? I'm pretty sure computer science is like 50% math, like literally 50% math. But I guess I don't know. I'm not sure how common that is. Okay, cool. So this is my current resume. So yeah, so I paid a recruiter like $100 to look at my resume, and what they told me were like a couple things, and I'm gonna go over all those things right now. And again, the reason that I'm gonna go over this is because like your resume can affect how many people see you, how many people like engage with you, and how many job offers you end up getting, because that can make the difference. This can make the difference between you being at the bottom of the stack and at the top of the stack, and then a recruiter actually seeing it. So yeah, cool. So we do like this 4-line thing because you want to like save space, right? You want to put as much space as possible. If you break these up, then it becomes another line. It shifts your thing down entirely. And these are just links, so like people can just click on them or whatever. Skills, the recruiter told me again during that $100 call with the recruiter. Also, that recruiter was a ex-Meta. They had 10 years of experience, looking at resumes and all that and sourcing candidates. And yeah, they probably looked at maybe like 1,000+ resumes. So like I, generally would agree, I guess, with the things that they say. But yeah, so they said that like not some, I guess there are junior recruiters. They're basically bad recruiters, and you're gonna see that a lot. But there's bad recruiters that they just like don't know what Jenkins is, and so they have no idea that Jenkins and Gradle are like CI/CD tools, for example. And so you need to group them so that you can actually like spell that out. And then also you get a bonus side effect of getting a new keyword. Keywords really matter for resumes because a lot of it's just electronic. And I mentioned keywords at the start, but a keyword, if you don't know what that is, it's the idea that um, electronic resumes will group your resumes into by keywords. So if you have a JavaScript job posting, it will give higher priority to candidates that have JavaScript mentioned, more times essentially. Cool. So yeah, so this is this idea, right, of grouping, so that you can help explain this, like break this out to like recruiters that suck essentially at their job. And then here used to have this as freelance software engineer, but then apparently this has like the tone that like I'm a freelancer. So instead he said I should just change this to like something else, and I said, okay, well I could just put software engineer, but like, and he says like just put every client that you had. That's what I did. And then you see I overload these with numbers now. Architected serverless microservices using AWS Lambda and API Gateway, reducing server load. I used to have these keywords bolded, but he told me no, don't bold them, because he was working as a recruiter, maybe I think like 3 years ago or something. I don't remember, but he's noticed a lot of spam sites, like scammers, would put those in bold for whatever reason. Like there was like companies, I guess, that would contract trying to find people jobs so they can maintain their visa, and they would just spam apply and they would bold everything. And he was like, yeah, if he saw one, like he knew that it was basically like it was generally a spam, like just fake person. Why do you remove Java? Yeah, I don't want to code in Java, actually. I don't want a Java job at all. I'd rather do C++. I should have Java on here, but I don't want to do Java. Java sucks. I'm just like Chad, yeah. Yeah. Well, he said something way worse. He said anyone who uses Python, one of my friends said anyone who uses Python is the worst programmer in the world, and that they are the equivalent of someone in high school. That's what he said. It was like insane to me. Okay. But I don't want to use Java. Anyways, so yeah, you notice I have like just numbers here. And what else did we change? What else did we change? Education. I'm graduated, so my GPA doesn't matter anymore. And I don't put the dates because some recruiters, again, the recruiters that suck, will be biased against what date you graduated on. If you tell them that like you graduated last year or something, like they just hold it against you, and it's not like anything that will ever help you. They'll only use it to lock you into like they'll use your graduation date to say, oh, you have 4 years of experience, so therefore we're gonna put you like lower. Basically, you're not graded off your merits, you're graded off of like what day you were born. That's just stupid saying that about people who program in Python. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my friends. That is one of my friends. He is a firecracker. He is a firecracker. He would say like crazy stuff too, and like in college too. Like he'd be like, Disney movies and Marvel movies are the worst thing for society. Like, or he was just saying crazy stuff like that. Like it's like the worst thing ever. I don't know. I don't know how he gets these like strong opinions. As I said, at the time, Marvel movies were actually really good. That was like literally when Infinity War came out, like Infinity War and Endgame, and he would say like it's like the worst movie he's ever seen or whatever, which is insane. But like now Marvel movies, I'll say they suck for sure. But if switching into software, would you try? My God, video encoder. One day, man, one day I'll have like a little bit of income and I can trade my computer out, and so this stuff doesn't happen, and I can actually just like stream for longer than 2 hours at a time. But until then, cannot do that. Cannot do that. But one day, one day, one day. And I think this like refreshed the page, so like I literally lost the person's question. Yeah, someone asked a question in YouTube chat and I lost it once that screen flickered, essentially. So you may have to ask that again. May have to ask that again. Okay, so yeah, so this is the resume I think I have right now. I just sent it off to him again for him to look at, but yeah, essentially these are like the points that he mentioned. I asked him again too if like certifications matter, and he told me no. But it's just this idea of like numbers. Don't bold the things because I guess he saw like scamming sites using bolding, which I had no idea about. And don't put the date. I remove that, and that's essentially it. I have like my languages too: English native, Spanish fluent. And he's also said it's okay if I go over, actually. So I may try adding more bullet points. The only weakest part of my resume is that I'm not keywording. Right now it's very backend heavy, very Python heavy. But yeah, that is it. That is... Gotta put the laptop on some ice. Heck yeah. Let me just pull some ice out of my pocket real quick. We gotta use that bad boy. We gotta cool this bad boy down. Which means ending stream, honestly, because I've been streaming for a while. Hit that 2-hour limit. It really sucks. And one day I'll have maybe like $1,000 or something. I want to try to do it actually from YouTube or coaching or something. Cool. All right. So I also took this alcohol class and drug class. This was a cool class. Job market today in the U.S. is one of the worst. A lot of layoffs. Hard to land an interview without recommendation, but I imagine non-public companies are still the way to go. My company did 400 layoffs last week. Yeah, like, and the reason that I did this this resume thing is because I'll apply with referrals and I still won't actually get callbacks like 100% of the time, which is kind of weird to me. So yeah, what I want to do is just improve my odds on that, and like not have people being confused essentially. But anyways, that's, yeah, this is all for the resume session. Hopefully you guys learned something. This is what I learned, at least from talking to that recruiter. Spending $100 to invest it and try to make $100,000. Turn $100 into a $300,000 salary. So, was it worth it? Who knows? Who knows? That's just something I think all the things that, you know, I said and all the things that, you know, the recruiter told me made sense. I think they logically made sense. So we'll see how they go though. Like, I think they're all improvements. Cool. Theo, if switching into software, would you include past work experience outside code or only include coding projects? Yeah, there's a preference for recruiters for sure, right? Like a recruiter is going to see wait, what? Oh, okay, never mind. I was thinking experience versus personal projects when you asked that, but it sounds like you're asking is outside of code experience good? Yeah, I think generally no. Like I think the preference is that, like, do you have actual hard skills with Python or whatever language it is? And that's one. And then like two is like maybe like leadership. So if you have like leadership skills, but if it's like working at McDonald's or something, or maybe teaching skills too. So like leadership skills or teaching, that's probably experience counts. And then yeah, the programming language. All right, this thing is like going crazy, man. Yeah. So yeah, it kind of matters, but like ideally you don't want any of that. Ideally you would rather have personal projects that are going to demonstrate this. Like worst case, even if you don't have anything, you want personal projects that are going to show this, the programming language and actual tools, and then maybe leadership and I'm in teaching, like maybe. I'm not sure for suite positions, but other tech positions have certifications. AWS Azure because customer gets discount on the bill. Yeah, startup. Me. Okay, here we go. It's really happening. Startup me. I'm not sure for other suite positions, but are quite valuable. Yeah, the recruiter said that I asked the recruiter this. I asked the recruiter, do certifications matter? And that recruiter, ex-Meta, whatever, 10 years experience, has been looked at like 1,000 resumes. He said no hiring manager has ever like changed their mind on a candidate because they had a certification. That's what he told me. He said no hiring manager has ever said, dang, this person has a AWS, whatever certificate. We should interview this person. He said for networking positions, they have a lot more certifications that like are needed for like super niche technologies, and that matters. But in that recruiter's experience, yeah, they were not valuable at all because the customer gets a discount on their support bill. Tech support, it's tech support. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's not programming related. It's not leadership, and it's not really the teaching. I mean, it can be kind of, maybe depends on what you're tech supporting, I guess. But I would prefer having an actual project that's demonstrating Python than tech support, honestly. But 400 layoffs in what departments? I don't know. I don't remember saying 400 layoffs. I don't remember saying that at all. Oh, startup me. Oh, okay. I missed that. Oh, I missed a lot of stuff. Are you looking for ML data science roles? Nope. Nope, not at all. I don't have any experience with math and statistics. Job market days, yeah. But yeah, for sure. My company did 400 layoffs last week. Yeah. No, there's a lot. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. And yeah, no problem, Theo. No problem. Under the Citibank judgment, does your first bullet point have an extra space between analyzing code? Kind of like there's an extra space. Not sure. I'll look at it. I think I actually might have closed it, but I'll check at it. Scattered 8% companies with all departments. Back to it. All right. All right. Hopefully the stream wasn't super laggy. I think it's probably going pretty bad, but at least you can understand what I'm saying. And again, one day maybe I'll get a new laptop. I'll get some kind of income. Okay, I think that's it for the resume session. I kind of went over everything that I think. The TLDR of this is one, your resume like matters. This is like the first entry point for, unless you personally know the hiring manager at like a startup or something, your resume is gonna think that's gonna get you like seen as like better or worse than, like basically get your foot in the door. But then once you can start like talking to the person, that becomes like the interview or whatever. And then you just have to get good at like talking about your experiences in a way that like they can rank you based off the other candidates. And then you got to get good at LeetCode because that's the questions that they're going to ask you. You need to get LeetCode or vocab quizzes. Vocab, LeetCode, vocab, and sometimes I think they do like system design stuff. But you have to get good at that because then they'll cancel you based off that. And then once you have that, then I think you have your offer. Which this is what happened to me for Citibank and for EasyPost. I just showed up, had my solid resume. They looked at it, compared me to the other candidates, and then gave me a LeetCode test and a system design test, which is really just database design. And then they gave me that offer. Gave me the offer. So that's the reason why we're doing this. And you just want to make sure your resume is concise. Get referrals, DM recruiters too. That's another thing that works very well. You DM a recruiter so that you get pushed to the top of the stack. If you for some reason you're at the bottom, you can actually DM them and they'll see it, and then boom, now you're just at the top. You just cut ahead in line. Amazing, right? You don't gotta like sit at the bottom, or you get referrals and then you get pushed into like this exclusive stack. You get into the referral stack, and so now you're higher up there. So now they're more likely to look at it. But yeah, it's just a game of doing that. So that's what we're doing. That is what we're doing. And I'm gonna end stream because my computer can no longer stream anymore, unfortunately. So hopefully, again, this was helpful. Hope you guys learned something. This is just me going over what I learned from talking to that recruiter. And I'll see you guys later. If there are no more questions, no more thoughts, things to consider. Cool. Hey, man. Sounds great then. Sounds great. Oh wait, my bad. Okay, I didn't see any questions. Joint Pass, can you review my resume? Hey, can you see my resume? Yeah, you can send it. Send your resume. Um, give me a Google Drive link to your resume or some photo link, and then you can. It's gonna be on stream. So you can just like delete your name or whatever. Or I guess anything you want, don't want. Granted, I mean, again, it's a very small group of people. I don't think anyone's gonna do anything to you. But if you want to do that, then yeah, just redact your information. Do C++ make a compiler then VM then parallel encryption? I don't know what that means. Oh, you're talking about for how to get good at LLDs. I don't know. Go on YouTube and solve the problems on there. So what generally done in Python jobs? You don't want ML/AI? I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. I don't care if it's a Python job. I don't. It doesn't have to be a Python job, but Python is like one thing that they'll look at that you have programming experience. So, for example, Google is okay hiring an engineer with Python experience because they can just train you to learn any other language. Like people aren't like super. They're not super picky about the language you know. They just want to know, can you program generally. Are you looking for ML, AI, data science jobs? Are there more jobs for C++ or Java? You can go on Indeed, Theo. Go on Indeed, and you can see like the number of jobs that they have for a role. You just type it in. Best practice, best language to practice LeetCode in. Whatever language you know best. That's the best language to practice it in. Whatever language you know best. If you don't know any languages, do Python. Yeah. All right, Joint Pass. If you are not ready with a resume, it's good. I got a dip, man. I'll be streaming again tomorrow morning at the exact same time as now. And yeah, just send it to me. Then I'll remember your name. Okay. I will remember it. I'm gonna dip if it's not ready, I guess, in like the next probably the 1 minute, 30 seconds. And yeah, it's fine. Just again come again tomorrow. I don't see any resume in Joint Pass. But yeah, like I said, it's fine. Again, I'll be here tomorrow if you want to stop by. If not, that's okay. But does a math statistics degree look good for ML/AI jobs? It should feel like, right? Isn't that what data engineering is? It's like by definition. So I think that's what they would look for. They want experience. Probably good for entry level. If I had to guess, I don't know. I don't know anything about that field though. Sir, I have sent it. I do not see any link in here in my YouTube chat. Like I said, I'll look at it later. I don't see any link in the YouTube chat. I don't think anybody else can really. But yeah, I'm streaming every day, so around the same time. So you can come back tomorrow, and then I'll remember your name. It's good. All right. Peace. I'll see you guys later. Again, hopefully it was helpful. Another thing too is actually I can do a plug because I've been doing this whole thing for like an hour. I can plug. Oh shoot, I missed the Code Chef contest. That sucks. Because I was doing this. Dang. Okay, anyways. So I have this free DSA prep community. If you guys want to join it, you join it. So what I'm trying to do is get people doing more DSA stuff. Homework problems, weekly discussions, and you can ask me questions too for doing weekly Q&As. I'm gonna link this. This is my 1 hour, 2 hour plug. 2 hour plug. So if you guys want to join this, would recommend it. Kind of the goal is I'm trying to make this to where getting people more motivated to solving problems. So I got people or cover letters necessary, which really, I mean, you guys can ask any question that you want. You should just use this, talk about it, things like that. And yeah, you guys should definitely be participating in contests for sure. But yeah, I got a little good leaderboard over here too. Cool. Anyways, yeah, that's my little pitch. And then here's all the people who are in the community. I'm trying to get them listed by problem solve so we can see the problems that they're solving. Cool. Peace. See you guys tomorrow if you guys are here, and